English Fighter, and in our today's lesson, we'll be looking specifically in the strategy for gap completion in listening. It can be an obsession of a host of students, but don't worry, we will help you overcome this challenge. So, in the first place, what is gap completion? As you know, it's quite similar to the other forms of listening tests, such as summary completion, labeling completion, sentence completion, and table completion. About the form completion, some people call it gap filling exercise, then imperceptibly say that it is the same way to do. But please remember that test designer, they do not construct the test for fun. So each type of test requires different strategies to do. For example, in the table completion, you will often hear more than one piece of information that could fit in gap flow. So you do not write the first information that you hear. You have to consider the information that you want to fill in the gap. Or in the summary completion, they would test the ability to use the synonyms and paraphrase efficiently. So, for this kind of test, you have to fill in the gap exactly what you heard in the test. So, in other words, you just need to write down the information that you heard into the form. According to the request of each test, you have to write down 1 to 3 words or figures that you choose for the listening test. It means that you have to completely focus on your answer. And here is an example of the form completion test.
So, what should test prepare for this kind of listening task? My name is Sophie, and I will be in charge of helping you guys have perfect preparation. Firstly, you should know the accurate pronunciation of words, because it can be easily mistaken. What I mean is one word can have some similar sound to another word, like equality and quality, first and third, 13 and 20. They're so simple, but sometimes can make you confused. Secondly, you should be used to different ways of saying numbers, include for numbers, days, hours, crores, and so on. For example, you can see on the board is a date, and it can be said in 3 ways. Firstly, you can say September the 13th or the 13th of September, or as in American English, you can say September 13th. Another example is a phone number. You can say 0328 982 833. Another one, you can say 0328 982 833. You can see, instead of saying 33, I say 33. Remember that all the numbers are usually set in groups of 2 or 3 like that. All of that, remember speaking and listening the numbers or letters in a sequence rather than separately, so that you can be familiar and easily catch them while listening.
It's my turn to share with you some certain steps that you should follow in form completion. Actually, the strategy is quite simple. First of all, always read the instruction very carefully. It is likely that there will be a word limit in the instruction, and you want to find the correct answer, but then you lose much chance because you don't see the word limit in the instruction. So please stick the word limit when you get paper, or you can underline the keyword in the instruction to make sure that you understand the requirement of the task. Secondly is making predictions. There will be some time before the recording. You should see to check through the task to know what kind of information you have to print in. Please take advantage of the time given to you and try to predict what kind of word form are missing. The brain can meet a noun, a number, a name, or an address. The word before or after the gap will help you to know what is missing. In the way you can almost know what you need to do. Here in an example, I have a sentence. There is a increase in the number of people who read online magazine recently. And you can see that before the gap is and after the gap is increase. And from that you can know that the what should be an adjective. After the listening part, if you listen, you will have 3 to 5 minutes to transfer your answer to other set. If you have got the answer, try to get something. Don't leave it blank. That is something about how to do this part. Follow all the steps that mean that you can get good grade. Some still be mistake when you are distracted. We will you fail. Only when you recognize some common mistake can you do well. So let's move to the part.
We will move the last part which is necessary for example to start through the exam with flying colors. Although you may master the tips above, you still have difficulty in getting higher score in this section. So why? Now I want to point out 3 common mistakes that test takers often make in giving their answers. The first mistake is ignoring or forgetting word limit in the instruction. The word limit can vary from 1, 2 to 3 words or even a number. It seems to be so easy, but lots of candidates disregard the instruction, which makes them easily lose their points. You have to be careful with the number of words in this task to avoid exceeding or missing words. For example, say in the instruction, it is given that write no more than 2 words for each answer. You have to write in 1 word or 2 words, otherwise no mark at all for that. Therefore, before filling gaps, you should spend time to check the word limits. The second mistake is giving the wrong word form. There are many situations that test takers give wrong word form, such as part of speech or singular or plural form of nouns. You can see an example on the board. Completely the sentence below with no more than 3 words. In an emergency, student should use ... This blank is the thing you need to write, and in audio, you hear that is another door, but there are 5 doors and are kept locked from the outside. They should only be opened from inside in case of emergency, so you know you need to fill in with 5 doors. You miss S after door and only write 5 doors, so your answer is wrong. This is an unfortunate mistake that makes your score not as good as what you expected. Therefore, you should predict word form of gaps before listening and spend some minutes to check the word form when you transfer the answer to answer sheet. The mistake is giving more or less information than needed. It means your answer are too specific or general, or don't fit the whole notes. To help you understand better, I will give you an illustration. In the form you are given, there are many kinds of bicycle available: racing, touring, ... and ordinary. In the recording, the speaker says the range of bicycles are enormous. There are racing bikes, touring bikes, mountain bikes, or ordinary bikes. And then the answer is mountain bikes. It is incorrect. Bikes in the recording is synonym of bicycle in the form, so you just need to write mountain in the gap, not mountain bikes. To avoid making this kind of mistake, you have to be careful with information you are given in the table. Look at the gaps and surrounding. There are some details that are paraphrased and you do not need to write down again. Though I have 3 common mistakes I want to share with you.